everybody. So I don't really know how to start this video other than to say that I wanted to talk about the COVID-19 outbreak in Korea and more specifically in Daegu. I live in Daegu, so I wanted to give you kind of an inside perspective of what it looks like, what it feels like, how it's affecting people and all of that. But before we get into that, are you new to my channel? Welcome. Normally I don't make videos quite as serious as this one. I usually make videos talking about Korea, talking about Daegu, talking about language learning or language comparisons. Sometimes I talk about Switzerland because that's where I'm from, and if any or all of that sounds interesting to you, why not stick around to a happier video. I am filming this video on the 22nd of February 2020. That is important for you to know because facts can change, numbers can change very, very quickly, especially when it comes to these kinds of situation, virus, outbreak things. All of the facts that I have are up to date up until today's date, 22nd of February 2020. A lot of people have asked me why Daegu? Why is it so widespread in Daegu? Why isn't it in Seoul where there are 10 million people living? Why is it in the 2.5 million place teeny tiny little Daegu? Daegu is Korea's 4th largest city. If you're going to go to Korea, usually the places you go to are Seoul and Busan. Daegu is a little bit above Busan, so whilst you're on the train to go down, you're most likely not going to stop in Daegu because why would you? You're already on the way to see Busan. So not a lot of people actually stop in Daegu. Personally, I think it's a shame. I think Daegu is a lovely place to explore, especially the cafes. I've made multiple videos about them, but Daegu is usually not the place where people stop and stay. The thing you need to know about Daegu is that it's quite concentrated. Seoul is very vast. Seoul is big. If you go from one end to the other, it can take you 1.5 to 2 hours to get from one place to the next. Daegu is a lot smaller. It will take you 1 hour max, maybe even just like 50 minutes. So it's a very small sort of city, but there are still 2.5 million people living in it. Daegu is also known to be the most conservative place in the entire country. Old-fashioned mindset when it comes to the older generation. Younger people, open-minded, lovely, 10 out of 10. However, the older generations, they tend to be a little bit more traditionally thinking, a little bit less open-minded. A lot of people are wondering why the COVID virus is especially rampant here in Daegu, and a lot of people, when asked this question, are pointing their finger towards one specific person. The government and healthcare institutions are telling people not to just pinpoint it on one singular person. This person is patient 31, and their story goes as follows. Patient 31 is a 61-year-old woman who went to the hospital after a minor traffic accident. The doctors asked her to take a COVID-19 test and to quarantine herself. She, however, refused to do that and decided for herself, no, I'm okay, I don't need to do that. She then continued to go to church and to go shopping. The problem is that she did have the COVID-19 virus. It later on turned out that she was positive for it. The church service that she had attended had over 900 people attending it at the same time as her. So she was in indirect contact with 900 people. And those 900 people then went home to their families, rode on the subway, and were able to probably infect more and more people. A lot of online news sources are not calling it a church so much as they're calling it a cult or a sect, so make of that what you will. Allegedly, bosses in the church are telling churchgoers, do not tell people that you are coming to this church. Don't tell anybody if asked about it. Don't say anything. Which does kind of sound like a cult, but it also kind of sounds like a conspiracy theory. That's kind of the rumors that are going around. Allegedly, that is what's happening. Before I get any further into this video, I just wanted to say that I personally am a-okay. I have not had any symptoms, and if I start to experience any symptoms at all, I will be on my way to the hospital immediately, just to be sure. If that happens, I will update you guys as well. But as of right now, I am okay. Thank you so much for your messages. Thank you for worrying about me. But as of right now, I am okay. As I said, 346 cases in all of Korea were confirmed, but CNN had said that about half of those, if not more, are happening in the Daegu and surrounding areas. About 59% of all of Korea's COVID-19 cases are happening in Daegu and the surrounding areas. There are more and more cases being discovered. Just this morning we found out there was one case of a KNU university student and 2 more in the military. All of the military bases are basically shut down from what I've heard. It's terrible. It's awful. If you live in South Korea, it's more or less normal to get government sent messages. Those messages are usually around the topics of earthquakes or yellow dust or extreme weather reports. However, in the past few days, we have been bombarded with government sent messages about COVID-19. New cases, if you have coughing symptoms or if your throat is scratchy, go to the hospital immediately. Wear protective face masks, use hand sanitizer, wash your hands for 30 seconds or more. If you can, avoid going outside at all costs. Do not go outside. So how is COVID-19 affecting the citizens of Daegu from a first-hand perspective? If a brand doesn't own it, what do you call that? I'm gonna call it home-owned. I'm not sure if that is correct. A lot of home-owned cafes, restaurants, bars, clubs, and even shops are closing down. They have signs in front of them saying, today we are closed, or we will be temporarily closed due to the coronaviruses. People are losing money because of it, because nobody wants to go to a restaurant, nobody wants to go to a cafe, everybody's too scared to go outside. The streets are pretty much deserted. It is Saturday and there was nobody downtown. The streets were empty. Usually you see people hanging out, going on dates, going to cafes, eating at restaurants, but today the restaurants lay empty, the cafes were deserted. Daegu Station, Daegu's biggest train station, lay completely barren with like 3 people in total. It seemed like I was there on a weird holiday, but the coronavirus warning signs everywhere and the little messages over the speakers made it pretty clear that this is not a holiday. This is a virus that's going around and it's scaring people. If the establishments, the shops, the cafes are still open, they will have hand sanitizer everywhere, and I've also seen little signs where they tell you how many times they've desanitized the establishment. Another thing that I have seen is I've seen a lot of warning signs warning about COVID-19, how you can prevent it, how you can know if you have it, and if you do have it, where you can go, who you can call. When entering the subway station or big shopping malls, there are now heat sensoring cameras which will track the heat of a person. And if that person seems to have a fever, that person will most likely be taken into quarantine. I'm not sure, I have not seen it happen. I really hope I don't see it happen. People are freaking out about it. People are buying massive boxes of protective face masks, so much so that there are none left in the shopping malls. I went around to about 5 shops with my friend and they all said like, sorry, we don't have any more protective face masks. Because people are buying so many protective face masks, doctors are now worried that they will be running out of them at the hospital. If doctors get infected and doctors get sick, who do we have? There was one specific person today that I saw. A Korean YouTuber had put up a banner near the stage downtown, was standing on the stage and was handing out free face masks. It left a very sour taste in my mouth. The fact that this person was using the fact that everybody sold out of face masks, everybody needs them, but there are no face masks available. The fact that he took that and turned it into, subscribe to my channel, here's a free face mask. I found that very kind of icky. If there's a terrible air quality day happening in Korea, most people in Seoul, I believe, will be wearing protective face masks to protect their respiratory system. People in Daegu tend to not care about that. I've noted that in videos before, Seoul versus Daegu. So people here are a little bit more lenient when it comes to the reasons of needing to wear a mask. They're more likely to just say, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. Which I think could have very much aided the virus spread quickly in the beginning stages when not that many cases were apparent in Daegu. Another thing that I've always noticed in Korea is that elderly people, whether it's men or women, they don't really care about coughing in a proper way. The proper way, I was told as a child, when coughing or sneezing, is you sneeze into your elbow. However, people in Daegu, especially the older generation, I have seen a lot of people just cough. In the beginning stages of COVID-19, when nobody was really taking it as seriously as right now, people were not wearing face masks. They were not caring about coughing in a specific way. I don't have as many international friends from as many different places as I do subscribers, so please tell me what is it like in your country right now. So this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can stick around till when I make a new one. I hope you drink lots of water, get lots of sleep, and this is the end. Bye.